Well, I'm Bill Woodard, and this is Janie Pettigo, and we are excited about this program that we're doing today. We're here at Riverview Regional, and Janie, I think you had something you wanted to go over because we're talking about health, right?
Yes, we are talking about health care today, and we got some new statistics in that aren't very good about Tennessee.
Oh my.
So we need to take our health care serious, and we've got a great place to do it. But I just wanted to share this with you that this annual report that has just come out says the obesity rates increased in 5 states, and Tennessee was one of those.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It really is. Rates of obesity now exceed 35% for the first time in 2 states, and they're at or above 30% in 20 states, and no state is below 21%. And used to 21% obesity rate meant that you had a high population of heavy people, and that's actually low now. So it's really sad. Now, Mississippi and West Virginia tied for the highest obesity rate, so we didn't have to worry about that one, but we do need to work on our health because obesity means that you're going to be sick more than likely, and your chance for disease increases. So hopefully we're going to talk to some folks that and reassure people that they have a great place to come to if they do get sick.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons for the program. We've got a wonderful set of walking trails and a lot of recreation around here. We have a lot of, they just finished the Chad's Run this last weekend, and we have a lot of runs that take place and a lot of things that people can do.
We got one coming up right before Thanksgiving we're going to talk about later on too.
Yeah, we're going to mention that. So you stay with us. We're going to show you a little bit about Riverview and talk about Smith County, some of the things that are going on in it, and we're going to talk about our health. We're here at Riverview Regional Hospital, and we're doing sort of our health segment this time on Chamber Corner, and Mayor Nesbitt has come by. And Mayor, we just really kind of like you to give us a county update on what's going on in the county, and I had a few questions. I understand that you've got a firefighter's grant that something's going on with that. Would you explain that to us?
Yes, I'd be glad to, and just glad to be here today. Thank you for asking me to come. What we did, we applied for a assistant firefighters grant back last year, and we were fortunate in getting that grant. It's a $374,000 total project, and the grant portion was $355,000, with $18,000 is what the match portion is from Smith County. This grant, it actually allows us to purchase 72 SCBAs, and if you're out there like I was when I first heard SCBA, I thought, what is a SCBA? And it's a self-contained breathing apparatus. That's what firemen use when they go into a fire, and the rules are they got to have one in and one out in case something happens to one of the firemen. This would allow us to get 8 for each fire department. So you'll see they have a lot of extra there, and it protects that fireman. Plus, if they had to rescue somebody from inside the fire, inside of a home, they've even got a buddy mask with these also that they can put on somebody to help them get them out.
Oh, that's
wonderful. And we actually had the bid opening this morning, and we had 5 people or 4 different companies that bid, 7 different models that were bid, and at least 4 of them were in our range for our bid amount. So that's going to help. We've got 9 fire districts in the county, and so that's going to help each one of them. So.
And this is for the volunteer firemen and also for the EMS?
It's actually just for the volunteer firemen.
Just the volunteer.
And this is the first time we've ever applied for this grant, and I just think that's amazing to be able to purchase $374,000 worth of breathing apparatuses for $18,000 from local funds.
Boy, that's great. And this is a grant through the federal and state?
Yes, sir. It's actually through the federal government. It's Assistant Firefighters Grant through the federal government, and we're applying for another grant this year for the actual outfits that firemen wear. The helmets, the coats, and the pants, and you just wouldn't believe how expensive that kind of stuff is. But hopefully we're fortunate with that too.
Well, that's great. I know I really appreciate the firefighters. They actually did save my home a few years back. We had a fire and no one was there, and they came along and literally saved my house. So these guys, they're volunteers, but they know what they're doing. They're trained and they know what they're doing. And
in not all situations can they save a home, but sometimes it's just a matter of trying to save the neighbor's home. Mm-hmm. You know, once a house catches on fire, it's hard to get things put out, and getting there, you know, they'll have a good response time, but you think about how rural Smith County is, and of course they're spread out in different places, and all these volunteers, they liable to be at work. You know, it may be a business owner, they have to pick up and leave, and head out to the fire. So it's sometimes it's a fast response time, faster at times than as others, but it's really a good thing. They do a lot of service to our county.
Oh yeah, well, they're much appreciated.
So when you see a fireman, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Or her, excuse me.
There was another thing. We've got an assisted living, I think, that's going to come online here before long, and I was just wondering if you knew anything about what was going on with that.
Well, of course, started in with, of course, Hal and Gordon Bone. They were looking at purchasing the old hospital over in South Carthage, and it was through some help from the hospital here and some help from some other individuals that they were able to purchase that. They borrowed quite a bit of money to get this up and running, and it's an assisted living facility. I believe it's somewhere around 60 or 70 bed facility, and it's supposed to be up and running hopefully in the next several months, but they're working on it. What I like about it, you know, the hospital did a good job keeping up the property while they were there. But once you vacate any kind of property, whether it's a house or a business or anything, it starts going down when there's nobody using it. And I was concerned that would be the case with this in South Carthage. With them purchasing it, of course, they were redoing the whole building.
Yeah,
and
it's looking nice.
Oh, it is. I went through it when they were tearing out the walls, and I mean, they pretty much gutted the inside of it and worked on that. And you know, we've got a lot of people that they're either their parents or their grandparents are in assisted living in other counties. And you know, that causes them to have to drive further, and you know, they might have to drive to Macon County or to Wilson County, and you know, that don't seem like a far drive for me and you, but it could be a situation where they've got an 80 or 90-year-old parent that's living in an assisted living, and they may be 60 or 70 years old themselves and maybe not in good health, and it's really hard for them to drive there and get there to see them. So this gets those Smith County people back to Smith County where they've been used to in the first place, and I'm looking forward to getting open.
Well, I think they're going to call it Carthage Pavilion, I believe.
But that's great.
Yeah.
And good thing about it, it's just about, I can see it from my house, so when I get old, you know,
you'll just be right at home, won't you?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm a little further in Lancaster, but I'm sure I'm going to need it before long. And one of the other things, well, is there anything that you wanted to, that I haven't asked you about that you want to bring up? I know you want to make an announcement about the unemployment rate, but I figured we'd save that to the last.
Yeah, we'll do that last, but I would like to tell the people out there, a lot of people are familiar with Crump Parish Park, one of the most used facilities in Smith County. Of course, you've got 2 softball fields and 3 baseball fields, anywhere from minor league, little league, junior league, and then the softball, you got big girls and little girls softball field. We've done a lot of work at the complex over the years. We've replaced all of the lights on the lower fields, which is about $300,000 worth of lights. And the lights were 30 plus years old on wooden poles, and they're not supposed to last for about 20 years. So we got an extra 10 years. And we replaced the lights on the minor league field last year, but it cost us about $85,000, something like that. So it's expensive to have such a facility as that. And we weren't able to get any grants for those because with the parks grants, you can't use that for lighting. It can't. I think it can't exceed over 20% of the total project. So what we were able to do this year, though, we were able to apply for a local parks and recreation grant to rebuild the tennis court and basketball court. When I took office, the tennis court and basketball court, the fence around it was propped up with 2x4s. Keep it from falling down, and we replaced that fence several years ago, and actually Mr. Digger Poindexter put a plug in for a digger, and he actually bought new basketball goals for the basketball court. And it used to be there was 2 tennis courts there, and we separated that off. One of them is a tennis court, one was a basketball court. And the reason I did that, we noticed there was a lot of damage being done to the park with kids that evidently didn't have anything better to do. So once we changed that one tennis court over to a basketball court, we noticed the damage to the park almost went to nothing. We had
wonderful
painting, graffiti work, we had commodes being ripped out of the floor, and now evidently they take all that frustration out on the basketball court, on each other. So
that's a wonderful turn of events.
It is. And with this grant we applied for, though, it redoes the fencing. The surface has not been redone in several years, probably 20 years plus. The only thing that would be standing there is the basketball goals that were donated. Be a new tennis court, new lighting, new fencing, new handicap parking, sidewalks. So it's just going to be a whole new facility that is used quite a bit.
And a little bit later, we're going to be interviewing some folks about the depot, and that's going to be kind of an addition to the park that's moving in just down to the end of the park. So the park is expanding and it's well used. I know I was over there watching, and there's a lot of people walking in that park, a lot of people walking on the Rails to Trails section of that goes through South Carthage there. So
I would love to
there's
see
a
if
lot
we
of
couldn't
use.
get that connected someday. It would be wonderful to
That
get that
would,
connected, get across
yeah.
that road, and we'll see if we can get there. And I don't know if you had anybody talk about this or not, but the Kids Central celebration this year, I think we served about 800 hamburgers and hot dogs there. Had a good day that day. So the park is used quite a bit.
Yeah, it is, and there was a lot of folks there, a lot of vendors, people that deal with the children in the county, and it was a good day. Well, I guess the last thing I'll ask you is, I know you'd like to talk about this. Tell us about the unemployment rate in Smith
We'll
County.
do that. And then along with it, I'd like to kind of maybe answer some questions to the people and maybe kind of squash some myths that are out there. There's a lot of people talk about all the vacant buildings in Smith County. Several years ago, that was the case. General String and Wire building, it was vacant. The old, I believe it was the Dura building down on Spicer Drive was empty, and then on up the street there was another location of Dura that was empty, and we were able to just through a turn of events. There was a company out of Ohio that came in, located in the Dura building, and they were there about 3 years and closed up. And now Graphic Packaging is using that building. Where Dura used to be, Cherokee moved in there, employing about 240 people. So really about the only building we have that is what I call a marketable building, which means with ceiling heights between 24 and 30 feet high, because most companies now, they're not looking at much lower than 25 feet. Some of them are not looking for lower than 30 feet. Mm-hmm. So we've got one building that's 41,000 square feet that's available. But through the expansions and filling these buildings and the local companies that are either expanding, like Bonnell expanded, added 20, 30 jobs. Well, also the welding plant down there that does the welding for the filter systems. They actually expanded and hired about 20 people. So we've had a lot of expansion. Then Cherokee was a brand new company in 2006 that, like I said, employs 240 people. And the zinc mine, of course, has been a really good asset for jobs in Smith County. They're employing around 450 people. And not everybody that works there live in Smith County. I mean, they're employing people from Putnam, Jackson, Trousdale, just a lot of different places.
Right.
Pretty much in Smith County, about 55% of the people that live here work here, and about 45% of the people that live here work outside of the county. But with all that said, we've been getting close to the top 10 for a long time as far as our unemployment rate being the lowest unemployment rate in the state. There's 95 counties, and Smith County is about 20,000 population. We're actually 19,166. So we're competing with larger counties, smaller counties, and the month of August we were number 4 lowest unemployment rate in the state of Tennessee.
Right.
And then in the month of September, we were number 6 lowest unemployment rate.
Well, I know we're always looking for other industry to come in, and I know we, as a matter of fact, just had that call about Invest Prep where they're wanting to help us develop sites to have, and I know there's other things that we're working on. So really appreciate the job that is being done, getting industry in here, and I think the future looks bright for us, and I appreciate everything that is being done.
Yeah, and that only happens with cooperation from everybody. The county mayor has to work with the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce has to work with each city, and even the city mayors have to work with the county mayor. The county mayor work with the city mayors, which I'm glad to do. And we all got a good working relationship. So, and we've seen a time where unemployment rate was over 13% in the last 5 years, probably. So, we've I think the highest ever got was 13.9%.
So that is quite a fall or quite a rise in our employment rate.
Yes, sir. It is. That leaves about 540 people that are unemployed, and I'm sure that some of that is you're never going to get much lower than 3 or 4%.
Well, and one thing that we didn't mention, you've got some things coming online outside the county, like for instance the prison over in Trousdale County is going to come online, and that's going to be more jobs. That's very close to here. And then Beretta is in Gallatin, and they've already sent out some notices about how they're having job fairs and things like that. And so there's a lot of things going on. As a matter of fact, if you want to know about some of these job fairs that are going on, get signed up for the chamber newsletter, and we try to send those out to members and let them know when there's job fairs going on. Like the Beretta one, I sent out a email blast on that.
Right. And I might add, if I could, on the you're talking about the prison. Of course, I serve on the Four Lake Authority Board, which is it's getting a new name. It's called Tennessee Central. But I've been on that board since I was elected in 2002, and there's been some ups and some downs on that board, and that's the old TVA property it's part of it's in Smith County, part of it's in Trousdale County. And of course, as you know, when the nuclear plant, the building of it shut down, it unemployed somewhere around 6,000 or 7,000 people.
Right.
There's a lot of people and affected a lot of places, and that's actually how the Four Lake Board got organized. And I serve on that board, and we were able to locate the CCA prison. Some people have their doubts whether that's a good thing or not,
Yeah.
but it's going to employ somewhere around 400 or 500 people. It's going to have a population in prison around 2,500, and then there's going to be an automotive company that's just now announced too. ARC is going to employ about 70 people. So, a lot of people might say, well, why would you want to help in that situation? Well, like I said, part of it's in Smith, part of it's in Trousdale, and where both of these are in Trousdale County. But you're talking about from that end, some of the Smith County people could be at work in 4 minutes just from there.
Exactly.
And, people in Carthage can be there in 10, or 10 or 15. And so I think it's a plus for us, and I'm looking forward to more people going to work.
Yeah, and the other thing they're working on too, and I don't know if you want to speak to it, but the port, I know they're working on getting a port for loading barges down there, and it's actually a viable consideration.
It actually will help industry here, Macon County, Trousdale County, Sumner, Wilson, because of the port accessibility there. And that's one thing they never let go. There's a license that goes along with a port, so that license was kept up, and we ended up getting permits to dredge because there's, as you can imagine, where it hadn't been used over the years, right there where the port is, it's filled up with sludge, and well, I guess it's not sludge, but it's a silt, I imagine. So they got a permit to dredge that, and we're going to dredge, and we'll end up setting up equipment there to load and unload barges. I know that there's lumber that could be shipped out of there, logging, sand, rock, just a lot of different things that could be shipped out of there.
Agricultural material,
Correct.
grain.
We've got several people interested in getting that going.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good thing.
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, it's an exciting time to be in Smith County.
Yes, sir. Thank you once again for letting me be here.
Mayor, thank you for
Yes, sir.
coming.
Thank you.
We have with us today Mrs. Barbara Knappel, one of my favorite people, and we're so glad she's here. Now, I understand that you two have got a big project going. Barbara is with the Smith County Drug Coalition, and tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Well, we've been lucky enough. Barbara actually brought this to me and told me about a grant. We applied for a grant, and we received a grant to do training. And what it is for drug-free workplace training for the industries and businesses here in Smith County. And we've had about something like a dozen of the businesses in the county sign up, and we're doing this training November the 14th and November the 19th. And it's going to be down at the Chamber of Commerce, and I'll let Barbara tell you about who's putting the training on and everything. But we've had a good response, and it's free to the industries. And you say, well, why are you doing a free thing to the industries? Well, every time we help their bottom line, it helps them and makes them want to stay in the county, and hopefully helps them pay our folks and take care of them. So that's what we're trying to do is increase their viability and their profitability in the county. So, and Barbara, you tell them about the program. I think it's good.
Well, this is a good partnership with the Chamber of Commerce because we want to help strengthen our workforce here in Smith County, and that will benefit our industries and our businesses. And the Drug Prevention Coalition actually applied for a grant with East Tennessee State University, and hopefully to tie that in with health and community development and economic development. So it's been a real good partnership. We just want to strengthen and support our labor force in Smith County, and we can do that through educating the workforce, helping our industries have less employee turnover, hopefully reduce those failed drug tests that sometimes cause industry to lose employees, good employees. So we want to just educate, provide resources, and we're hoping to do that through starting with our 2 workforce, our workshops that we're going to do with industry. So we just want to be of service to our industries. We want to reduce employee turnover.
And it helps the county in every possible way because the Drug Prevention Coalition, their mandate is to try and reduce the effect that drugs are having on people in a negative way. And this is just one of the things that they do. I'll toot your horn a little bit. The drug pickup boxes that we have, that's due to work that you do. And there's other programs that you have that are going on. And I think it's making an impact in education to children around here. A lot of people don't realize that when they go, and we're doing kind of a medical program because we're at Riverview. A lot of people,
they're a great partner.
And they are a great partner with this, with the coalition. And what a lot of people don't realize is that when you go to the doctor and they give you something that helps you and it's made to help you, if you turn around and you abuse that, then it turns into something that can literally ruin your life. So you have to make sure that you use things in the proper way. And that's what the Drug Coalition is about.
Absolutely. Reducing prescription drug abuse, as you said, with the drop boxes, and they're located at the Smith County Sheriff's Department and the Carthage Police Department. They're open 24/7. So we do encourage people to keep their medicine cabinets cleaned out so we can reduce diversion or overdoses.
And a lot of people used to just say, well, I'll just flush them or I'll just throw them in the backyard or whatever, and that's really not a good thing to do, is it?
No, we are not supposed to flush them anymore. That used to be the way we did it, but we're asked now not to do that, maybe reduce anything that would get into our water supply. So.
Exactly, because the water that we drink comes from the resources that we have in the ground, and if you start stocking the drugs in the ground, then it's coming back through. Some of that stuff never goes away. They literally take, by the way, if you want to bring it, it's like you said, 24 hours a day. You just drop it in the box.
Kind of like a mailbox almost.
It's like a mailbox. You just drop it in. You don't have to sort it or sign anything or do anything. You just drop them in. And what they do is they take them, and if I understand, they incinerate them, right?
They are incinerated, so there's not anything going into the environment.
That's wonderful. The drugs you're talking about are anything that's out of date. And I noticed the other night I was looking for some cold medicine, and I couldn't believe how many different types of medications and in the bottles and in the little packages that were outdated. So periodically we all need to go through our medicine cabinets and pull those things out. And that's a great way to dispose of those. Now tell us again, when is this training for businesses? And what times?
Well, it's November the 14th and 19th. We're doing it from 11 till about 2.
1.
11 till 1. And,
at the chamber.
At the chamber. And if you have an industry or you're an employer out there and maybe you want to try to get in on this one, you just give one of us a call. Or if you want to get involved in the next one, because we're going to be doing more of these things, then just give us a call and we'll try to save you some money and help your employees.
Now, what are the numbers to call?
Mine's 683, I'm sorry, I'm giving you my home phone number, 735-2093.
And the number at the coalition is 588-1622. And I do want to remind Bill that Bradford Health Services is going to be a partner with this as well, and they're going to provide the training for us. And I've done that quite a bit. Great partner.
They're a great partner, and they're doing the lion's share of this along with a grant. And then we're also getting some help from the Tennessee Central over in Hartsville that Mayor, I think, mentioned when he was talking. Used to be the Four Lake Authority. So there's a lot of folks working together here to make these things happen.
And just continuing to build industry and make Smith County an attractive place for industry.
Right. So we can all have jobs.
Boy, what a wonderful project. Thank you so much, and I will see you in just a few minutes.
We're still here at Riverview Regional, and we're doing some interviews with folks here in the county, and there's something that I think we're going to try to make maybe a regular update here, and it's the Carthage Junction Depot update. And I got Mr. Ryan Ray and Mr. Keith Williams here with me, and they're part of the committee that's helping to restore and rejuvenate, and you've already got it moved, and I know I'm involved. There's a lot of folks involved, so I just wanted to get them here, and just whatever comes to your mind, you want to tell us about it. I know they're putting the blocks under the foundation now, if that gives you a little segue. And one thing I'd like to mention, Keith has on his Save the Carthage Depot shirt. So if you want one of them, he's going to tell you where to get them here in a minute. But Ryan, tell us a little bit about your adventure with the depot.
My adventure with the depot. Well, you know, having grown up in Gordonsville and seen it sitting at the interstate, oftentimes underutilized, I'd always wanted something to be done with it. And I've always had a soft spot for historic preservation, especially for cultural landmarks such as transportation and buildings such as the depot itself. And so when I heard from you that you were working or hoping to work on saving the depot as it was going to be cleared for new development, you know, it really got me excited, and it was our chance to get this done and to do it right. And so for me, it has been a lot of work. I know it's been a lot of work for the entire team, but it has just been incredible that in such a short amount of time, in 2.5 months, we were able to raise all the money from private donors to move this building. And we got it moved, and now we get to do the fun part of trying to get the thing fixed up.
Yeah, and it's going to look good. I don't know, have you had a chance to see the block work that they've done so far?
I was able to see it as I was coming by, and I saw the photos earlier, and it really is going to fit the era of the building. And as you were talking about earlier, the way that it plugs into the Crump Paris Park is just phenomenal. And I'm really excited about what it's going to be able to do for the future generations of the county and visitors to the county.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a real good icon and a good focal point for what's going on there. And of course, we've got ideas about what to do with Piper's Ford there. Keith, you work at the museum, the Smith County Heritage Museum, a lot, and I know you support that very heavily, and we really appreciate what they do for the county, preserving our history and everything. But tell them about the T-shirts you got on. I think they can get them down there.
We do. We actually have the T-shirts, the Save the Carthage Junction Depot. We have those for sale at the museum. Jeannie Ford from Gordonsville actually had these made for us. They're $15, and all of the profit actually goes to the Save the Depot Fund. We have them for sale there. If you want, just contact any of us. We can get them for you as well. They do come in 2 colors. We have the blue that I'm wearing, and it's a navy blue as well that Jeannie Ford can actually make for you. We have a link on our Facebook page to the shirts where you can order them as well directly from Jeannie Ford.
Okay, I know you've worked with the museum for a lot of years, and you were really excited about the depot. I believe you're like the rest of us. We all lived over the other side of Gordonsville, and of course went to Gordonsville High School and have our history over there. And we remember seeing the old depot. Didn't you grow up around the old depot and sit and remember seeing some things about it?
I have. I actually have grown up in the area where the depot was. I've lived in that area my whole entire life, so I know a little bit of the history on the area there and some of the people that have lived there and everything. So it was something that I was passionate about seeing preserved for future generations.
Interesting story. You guys know Mr. Dennis Hackett. He's a recently elected county commissioner, and he told me when he was a young boy, he used to go down there and sell stuff out of the garden, or maybe his mother would make fried pies or something, and he would sell that to the folks that were working there. He'd go in the depot and get up in the rail cars and stuff. So there's a lot of history, a lot of people that have remembrances that are tied to this building, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to get involved, is to realize that you know, it is a big part of all of our families, and from the reason back. Some people might say, why did we choose the spot? I don't know who wants to answer that, but I don't mind taking that one, but you guys chime in on that.
Well, one thing is, tying into the Crump Paris location, it's a spot that's central in the county. It has easy access to all residents, and it's already heavily used. As Mayor Nesbitt was saying earlier about the baseball fields, softball fields, the Ag Center. We also have a walking track around the soccer fields. We have the farmers market, and it's also at the head, as they were saying, to the Rails to Trails that goes through South Carthage. And it's such a great spot to integrate this in so it can maximize its service to the residents and visitors of Smith County and also be more visible. The location, the way it sits, I won't lie, early on I had my doubts about its visibility, where we were going to put it, because it's a very small lot. But once it got there, it was just perfect. You can see it clearly, and it has an amazing view out to the river, which is one of our greatest natural assets. It's the Caney Fork River right before it dumps into the Cumberland. And, you know, as cities are starting to go back to embracing the riverfront, and to have that access right there, it's just an incredible spot.
Well, I know when we were talking about it, one of the things when you're getting ready to move a building, free land is hard to come by, and when the county offered to allow us to set it there, that was also a big part. And a lot of times when you get something free, it's not all that desirable, but I'd have to agree with you. That is a perfect spot for it, with the railroad track coming right by it. It's sitting by the track that it was sitting by before. It's just down the track a little bit, and I think it's going to be a good home for it. Well, gentlemen, is there anything else we need to add that you can think of? If not, I guess that's the depot report. Just keep watching. We're going to be raising some more money. We're going to be doing some work on the, now help me out here so I get this right. The block are going up now, then they'll pull the beams out from under it, and once they pull those up, they'll close the block up. Then it'll of course have been dropped down on the block foundation, and then Rackley Roofing Company, I believe, is going to start working on the roof. Oh, tell them about the roof that we're going back with. I like that.
Well, we were looking back at some previous photos. Keith, you had found those photos. What was the original roof like?
The original roof would have been your old tin shingles, and they were made of tin, but they were in individual little square pieces, and then they were installed on the roof. And that is originally how the roof would have been. Of course, you cannot buy those
it was
anymore.
Stamped with
and
designs.
It was a stamped tin shingle is what the roof would have had. And those are no longer manufactured, but we will be going back with a tin roof, and we chose corrugated tin in a dark gray to actually put back on the roof. That's the closest thing that we could get to the original, and we're going to go back to the original colors of the depot. I was able to get in contact with a elderly lady in Gordonsville that remembers the depot from several years ago, and she remembers the depot was actually a creamy yellow color with a dark green trim around it, and everyone is familiar with it being gray and white, but that was not the original. But we have chosen to actually go back to that original color scheme and stick with that and restore it as much to the original color and the way that the building would have looked as we can.
So it's pretty exciting. I'm sorry.
And what year again was the depot built?
We've never been able to really, Keith and I, we go back and forth on this. I have a picture of 1915 when some folks were outside, and it was obvious from the picture that it had been there a while because it had a little bit of wear and tear on it. The track that it is sitting in front of was actually completed in 1888. So you can figure they either built the depot right then and it was ready in 1888 or sometime shortly thereafter.
Soon after.
So I would say 1890 would be a good guess of the time that the depot was there. So we're excited about the new life repurposing of the depot, and we'll be getting more reports. And I know Miss Virginia Solomini is the chairman of the subcommittee on the Living Committee that's doing this, and I know we're going to get her here to talk about it too some. But appreciate you folks coming
And
out.
one other thing, if you will, if you're on Facebook, everyone be sure and like our page. It's Carthage Junction Depot. Like our page, you'll get all of the updates that we post. We actually have several pictures posted on there now, and we try to keep that up to date. We have several pictures of it actually being moved. We have pictures of it going down the road. There's one picture of it actually coming under the interstate. So there's some really interesting pictures that we have posted on our Facebook page. So be sure and like that. We'll keep you updated on all the events and everything that we have going on. We have several fundraisers that we're throwing around that we're going to try and work out to help us raise some more money to keep it going. So just like our page and stay up to date on everything that we have going on.
And don't hesitate to give feedback on the page.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We want to make sure that it's what the community wants as well.
Right. The purpose of this is to make it usable and purposeful for the community. So we'd like to have your help. If you're digging around in your attic and you find some old pictures, we'd love to have that. We'll post them on Facebook.
Or any
as well.
stories that you may have. Anything pertaining to the history of the depot, we would love to find out. We would love to know what you may know about it. So if you do any old pictures that you may find, if you know someone that may have some old photos or people that used to work with the train, I mean, anything like that, we would love to get our hands on it. So if you know of someone or if you have those things yourself, just let us know, get in touch with us, and we'd like to get a copy of those.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming by.
Thank you.
We're here at Riverview Regional Hospital, and we're here with the hospital administrator, Mr. Rod Harkleroad. And Rod, we appreciate you letting us come in here and do our program. We're kind of doing one centered around health, and you are our hospital, the one in the county, and this is the one we want to brag about and the one that we believe in. So tell us a little bit about yourself and then a little bit about the hospital.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you want me to hold that?
Sure.
Or? Okay. Well, I'm Rod Harkleroad. I'm the CEO of the hospital, and I'm actually a nurse at background, and I was a cardiac open heart nurse at Baptist Hospital in Nashville, and I kind of got into taking care of patients, and I realized if I was going to make a difference, I needed to get into actually the administrative side, so I could try to find a way to not only help people at the bedside, but see if I could change things from a difference on the top. So I've been out here for about almost 3 years now, which is hard to believe, and it's been a wonderful experience. One thing great about Riverview, this hospital's been here since 1976, and it's had a lot of different names and a lot of different owners, but back in 2010, LifePoint took back over the ownership of this facility, and they've really reached out and said, we're going to change the culture here, we're going to change the quality and make some big difference here in the community. And it really started, I think, in 2012, where we shut down the Rutherford Hospital on the other side on South Carthage, and at that time, that was one of our top physicians here, Dr. Rutherford. That was his father's own, and the question was, how is that going to turn out with that facility shutting down? Can we combine the staff and create a culture of safety and greatness as we move forward? And the crazy thing, in 2012, we shut that down, and it seemed like the people came together and created something greater than I could have imagined. And then since then, we've done some great things. We've spent about $8.5 million. As you can see now, we're in our new trauma bay in the emergency room, but we spent $8 million, and our focus was a lot on how can we benefit the community with good services. And so we realized the door to the hospital is the emergency room, and we really needed to take a big step in growing that. We put in new 8 bays. We expanded it over 20,000 square feet, and it's a wonderful ER. We're actually, within the company, we're ranked number 2 as the top ER in LifePoint out of 63 hospitals, and that's based on quality, that's based on patient satisfaction, and a lot of key indicators. So we're pretty excited about that. We've also have our 15-minute promise, and that is we promise our patients, if you come here, you're going to see a doctor within 15 minutes, and we're actually meeting that now. We're doing it at 8 minutes. So we realize as the community, the old thought was you're going to be here for a long time and that you have to wait in an emergency room. So we really put a big focus on let's get patients through, let's get them see them. So, on the emergency room side, but, when breaking this down a little bit more, we've got over 200 employees here, and we offer a lot of different services. We have about 35 beds that we treat patients on the inpatient side. Out of those 35 beds, 25 are what we would call the medical surgical beds, and those are what we would treat generalized patient care. Then we have a 2-bed ICU. We also do OB here. We delivered about 50 babies. We used to do about 100, but that's our new service line growth, and I'll talk about that with some physician growth that we've done over the last year. But we also have a gero-psych unit, and that's been very positive for us, this community. You'll be surprised, there's a lot of patients on the gero-psych side that are looking at ways to, when you get older, sometimes you have some more difficulties, and we have a great unit that we stay pretty full. It's a 10-bed. And it's done by Dr. Reddy, but we've done that. It's been a really successful program for us. So those are our major services. Now we do have an OR. Our OR, what a lot of people don't realize, we do over 100 cases a month. We do like colon resections to total hips and knees. The crazy thing about it is, our surgeon actually was a resident at Duke. She's her name is Dr. Barrett, very strong clinically. A lot of people think rural area, you're not going to have high-end physicians, but she's from Duke. Also, we got Dr. Terry, who's an orthopedic surgeon. He was a North Carolina graduate. So we also have, luckily, one of the biggest specialty clinics in LifePoint. We see over 1,000 patients a month through our clinic at the bottom of the hill. And really what that clinic does is we get physicians from St. Thomas and Hard and Centennial, like Dr. Stein with GI, podiatry, and just pretty much a lot of different services come through that clinic. And then they actually utilize the hospital to take care of patients in the sense of doing surgeries, GI surgeries. So not only do we have our great physicians in the market, we utilize some top-end physicians from the Nashville market to come out here and see patients. And that's been a very positive for us. So like I said, our OR is very strong. One thing I pride is we haven't had an infection in over 2 years in our OR. And, being a nurse in Nashville, I would take our OR over, some of the ORs that I worked up there. They're just good. We know what we can do well, and we do them. And then cases that are too complex, we'll move them on down the road. So I think our first thought is what can we do for our community, and let's do it the best we can, but then support the local hospitals downtown when we're in a situation we can't manage it. So we've done a good job on that. Radiology was our other big growth, and part of that $8 million. The radiology department, we have a 16-slice CT, which you would find downtown. We have a new MRI that's a 1.5, which is equally or greater than what you can find downtown. And a lot of those are diagnostics that are used to tell you whether you got something wrong with you or not. We have a radiologist on site every day, so he reads them, and he's excellent, Dr. Roth. And then we also have digital mammo. We've upgraded to that, so they say it's a little less painful, and it's a better diagnostic tool that sees in different images. So when I look at what Riverview's done, it's kind of upgraded itself to the new millennium, is like I would say. The technology has been brought forth, but we still have that thing that I think the downtown hospitals can't have, and that is we've got people that live in this community, and they work here, and they go to church with these people, and they care about them, and it means a lot to them. So that satisfaction and taking care of them is important to them. And I think that's one thing you probably don't get when you go downtown, is taking care of your friends. So I think that's been a success for us. And one reason it showed last year, our hospital, there was only 3 hospitals within LifePoint, won the High Five Award. And the High Five Award means you have excellent care, quality, satisfaction, and the financial side. And Riverview won that. And that was we got $100,000 in additional capital. So it's been I think what we've done is made a difference in the community, and we're keeping on going. We want to make quality care the best thing. It's not all about finance. It's about, can we take care of our patients and do it really well. And luckily we have a great partnership with Sumner Regional, and we get to utilize some of their physicians. And then of course Susan Peach up there has helped really allocate a lot of expenses, and not that, but give us a lot of things that we need to kind of grow what we are. So we've been very successful so far.
Well, I know one thing that it's very heartening to me to know that you're in the community and that I have the faith that if something happens. I had an accident one time. I came here, they took care of me. And here's the other thing that all of us worry about out there. This place is clean as a pin. It is spotless. And it's good to have a facility. What you've described is on a technological level that rivals anyone. And I appreciate that. I surely do.
It's a key. You know, you have to be clean. You know, we're always thinking about things. Even with the Ebola scare right now, we're having drills here in ways that we can protect the community if someone comes here presenting with one of those issues or the signs. LifePoint has given us some nice tools to use to kind of protect not only our staff, but to kind of isolate any event that can occur. But I agree, a clean facility, good people working, and knowing that when you come here that we're going to do two things. We're going to take good care of you, and like you're our best friend or mom and dad, but we're also going to be great about if we can't take care of you, if it's something that's great, we're going to move you on. It's not about wanting to keep you in. And I tell you, when I came here, I was always wondering how are the physicians at a smaller facility, because I've worked in larger facilities. And when I got to meet Dr. Rutherford, his quality of care is incredible, and I was very excited in what he does. Dr. Moss works really hard. She's our chief of staff, and she cares for our patients. And then we had Dr. Staten and Dr. Smith. We had just a group of good physicians that were wanting to grow. And then we went out and we've recruited a new physician that's actually starting this week, Dr. Banker. And for me, it's not about just recruiting a physician that would go into the community. It's about recruiting a quality physician. And we looked hard for the last 2 years, and we found Dr. Banker. She's actually came from, she was from Middle Tennessee. She went to Father Ryan High School and was a nurse at Vandy in the trauma unit, and she realized she wanted to become a physician. She went back to school, went to University of Tennessee and did rural, and she is now coming to work for us. She's about 33 years old, but she's a go-getter, very intelligent, and I think the community really are going to latch onto her with her skills. And so, we just are blessed. I mean, I think you have some great providers in this community. I mean, and Sexton and Heather Lamberth. I mean, I can go on. There's just some great providers that truly care about taking care of patients. So I think we're lucky as a community to have them.
Well, and what I like too is we go to the ball games or we go to a function or something, go to the fair and you see these guys here. So I appreciate y'all being involved in the community. Rod, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. And thanks for coming out.
Yeah, we appreciate you letting us use the facility.
All right, appreciate it.
Hi, we're here at Riverview Regional and we're with Miss Lori Nixon. And Lori, tell everybody what you do here.
I am the ER director here at Riverview. I'm also the director of the CCU, and I am the chest pain coordinator here for the hospital.
Okay, and I noticed when you said come into the psych room, is this where I need to be?
Yes, this is room special for you, Mr. Bell.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Anyway, what do you do? What is this for?
We renovated the hospital about 1.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. This is a room that if we have a patient that comes in that needs psychiatric treatment, this is a quiet room that we can put the patient in. We can roll everything out, make it a safe room. We have a camera that we can monitor them at the desk area, and it's just a safe, private, quiet area for them to stay while we work on getting them, treatment and sent if they need to go somewhere else.
Well, the message I get from that is that you really care about how people feel here, and you're trying to make them as comfortable as possible.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, and I know the ER is a busy place, so we appreciate what you do.
Thank you. We're glad y'all were here today.
We're here in the recovery room, and I tell you what, just tell them who you are and what you guys do in here.
My name is Joanna Vaden. I'm the director of the OR. This is the recovery room. This is where we wake people up from after they've had their procedure.
Okay, unfortunately, I have had several experiences with that in different places, and it really is something when you wake up, you're kind of distressed. So you guys kind of take the edge off for people. Is that what you do here?
We do. We make sure that we try to get everyone comfortable, make sure that they're, try to get them pain-free before they leave this room, if possible, and we usually try to give them a little something to drink if it's to that point where they're that awake, and let their families know what's going on with them.
Okay, so this is the true nursing section of the hospital, because you're really taking care of people that really need to be taken care of, right?
Right.
Yeah, because they've just come out of surgery. Well, we appreciate you. All this stuff back here, now you know how to operate everything here, right?
I do.
Well, that's wonderful, because I wouldn't have a clue. Well, thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Well, we've had a good day here at Riverview Regional Hospital. We've got a few things that we need to go over, and
Quite a few.
yeah, quite a few things. So I'll start it out. The one that I remember, my wife is at the New Middleton School, and they're having a fall festival the 15th, and it's from 4 to 8, and they're going to have a lot of fun there. And they've got several prizes that are going on. It supports the school, so that's going on. The New Middleton Lodge is having their Thanksgiving smoked turkey sale. Lodge number 249, and it's 683-7118, or text turkey with your name to 486-9860, and they're going to pick them up on the 27th on the Thanksgiving morning. November Diabetes Support Group will be meeting at the Riverview Regional Medical Center cafeteria right here, Tuesday, November the 11th from 3 to 6. Smith County Backpack Program will be packing on.
Now, I think that one, I would say by the time we air this, that will be over. So
Okay, so we don't know.
Right along.
All right, the American Legion Post 57, its next regularly monthly meeting, November the 11th at 7 p.m. at the Ag Center. Then we've got the Pleasant Shade Community Center Sale, 4th Annual Fall Festival on the 15th, and that's from 4 to 6 with a turkey dinner and a cake walk at 6 p.m. And then the Angel Tree Help Center, Christmas Assistance, and that's going to be, I don't see a date on there.
I think it's actually
December the 12th, it says, is the deadline.
I saw it November 5th. We will
Okay.
begin screening applicants on November 5th. To schedule an appointment for that, though, call 615-735-8090, extension 1. And the deadline to schedule your appointment is December 12th.
And the applications are at the Second Edition thrift store. And then I believe you had several announcements.
I do have several announcements that I need to make. First of all, for all of you parents out there who have 4-H kids, I wanted to remind you, and I know this may be a little in advance, but the 4-H County Public Speaking Contest will be held December the 9th at the Carthage Elementary School. Now, registration starts at 5 o'clock, but the contest actually starts at 5:30. Don't come at 5:30. Get registered first. And all first and second place club winners can come to the county contest. So if your child won first or second place in public speaking, then they automatically get to come to the county contest. So be sure and be there by 5 or shortly after on December 9th to register your child, and it's at Carthage Elementary School. Also, I wanted to let you know that there is a Gobble Wobble coming up, Bill. And in case you don't know what a Gobble Wobble is, it has nothing to do with the turkey, but it is near Thanksgiving. The Gobble Wobble is actually November 22nd, right before Thanksgiving, at 9 a.m. at the Crump Paris Park and the surrounding area. It is a 5K, a 10K, and a 1-mile fun run. I might do the 1-mile fun
I was going to say, I might do a 1-mile fun walk.
Well, I would probably do a little bit of both. It's $30 per person for the 5K and the 10K. The winners will be recognized. There's going to be male and female winners, as well as 5-year age groups. So there's a lot going on. To guarantee a T-shirt for the event, you have to pre-register, though. And pre-registration ends on November the 14th. So if you would like more information, it says, let's see, you will need to talk to, does it have a person here?
It doesn't have a person. It says SCHS Baseball.
Yes, on Fayette Avenue. I would call the SCHS High School to get more information. And I think they have their form at the chamber.
Yes, they
So you
do.
could also get a
You
copy
can
of the
come
form.
come by the chamber and pick that up.
That'll probably be on the website as well. Okay, the next thing I want to share with you is DeKalb Telephone is going to be having, and I'm kind of excited about this, they are having a, DTC for Kids telethon. In fact, they've asked us to be on the telethon.
Yeah.
Use our mouths.
Yeah.
Which we tend to do very well, I think.
It's not my looks, I know that.
Well, it's not mine either. And this is going to be on Saturday, November the 15th from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. We're going to be there. It's going to be held in Smithville, but we're going to be asking lots of you to be watching that evening. And the reason for this whole telethon thing is because we're trying to raise money to help programs that benefit children in each of the counties that DTC covers. For example, Wilson County, Smith, Rutherford, DeKalb, and Cannon counties. In Smith County, it is Santa's Shoppers. Which is, we're going to be raising money for that. And the Sheriff's Department, in conjunction with the Smith County Help Center, will be using the funds that are going to be collected to purchase Christmas presents for needy children right here in Smith County. Please be watching that night. You can also watch it online at, let's see, what was the, let me see, what was it? www.DTC3.TV, and you can go on the internet. You can watch it there, or you can watch it on TV. Either way, but I hope you will be bringing in lots of money for us, because every dime that's spent goes to the kids.
Right, and it goes into the area here. It stays here.
It sure does. The last thing I want to mention to you is that we're planning a Farmland Legacy Workshop, which will be held, and I know this is a little early, but we're letting people know because with farmers, they've always got something planned for their crops, for their land. So we try to let them know this in advance. February 3rd and the 5th, we have limited spaces available for farm families who plan to have succession training so that they can pass off their land in the manner that they want it passed off. We'll be providing succession planning, estate planning, estate planning tools. We'll be giving those, and we'll be doing retirement planning, acquiring professional services for planning, and talking about what a family needs to know. If you were to die, what would your family need to know? So we kind of go over all these things so that people can, even from the smallest items all the way to huge farms, we try to teach you the steps you need to take in succession planning. So it's going to be a really good program.
Okay, well, there's one last thing I'd like to mention. November the 30th, we are having our hometown Christmas. And we're going to have a lot of things happening, Christmas tree lighting. We're going to have carriage rides down on the square in front of the courthouse. The parade is going to start at the far end of town and come through. And all of that starts, the open house starts at 1 o'clock, goes to 5 o'clock.
What day?
This is November the 30th.
November
That's on a
30th.
Sunday afternoon. And the parade starts at the other end of town and comes through, stops at the courthouse. And then Santa Claus is going to get out of his sleigh, come over to the courthouse, and the kids are going to be able to go in and they're going to be able to talk to Santa Claus. We're also going to have some folks, I know Community Bank is going to be there giving out their hot chocolate. They're going to be coffee, and there's going to be other things happening too. So, and these a lot of the merchants are going to be in. Citizens Bank is going to have a lot of folks in their place, vendors, and there's going to be some vendors there around the courthouse. So we're going to have a big day planned November the 30th. So plan to be around Carthage that Sunday afternoon for the parade and for the other festivities. So, well, I guess that's the end.
Yeah, it's been a great day here at Riverview Regional, the cleanest hospital I've ever been in.
I'm telling you, and the people are great here. I'm very impressed with this, and just think, it's in our county. If something happens to me, I know I'll be safe.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
thanks for joining us today here on this wonderful program at this wonderful location.
Yeah, thank you, and we'll see you next month.